All right, everyone. Welcome back down to another episode of Those Nerds You Know. My name is Ethan,
I'm Eddie.
and we are Those Nerds You Know.
That was kind of creepy. It's fine.
What one was good? Yeah, no, the Eddie.
I'm Eddie.
You were very
Aw.
creepy.
Yeah.
Excellent. Welcome down, everyone. Today we're going to get into the game development conference that I recently attended, and Eddie's going to talk to us about Sea of Thieves.
Yeah.
So it's all about them video games this episode.
All about them video games. Always.
All the time. So, I'll talk about GDC for a bit. So, for those of you that don't know, GDC is the Game Development Conference, and it is held annually in San Francisco, California. And it's a lovely, very large gaming conference where I think, like, unlike PAX, unlike PAX, it's a little more development and business related. It's
It's more to the game card effects and producing new technologies and
Yes.
graphics, etc.
Yep. And a bit of recruiting is done there, and educational sort of panels and presentations and things. It's really cool. It's just sort of like made me think, like, if there are, I don't know a whole lot about gaming conventions because I've just started really going to them. I'm glad I did go to PAX earlier this year because that definitely prepared me for a lot of what this con was. But this kind, like,
Was it similar to PAX? No.
Yes and no. It's similar to PAX in a way that there are a lot of games you can play. There's a lot of games set up for you to play. There are a lot of demos. There's a lot of games that aren't out yet. But I think, like, PAX to me is a place where gamers go to play games that are not out yet, to play demos and to get their hands on something that they want to potentially buy soon. And just to have a good time playing games and being in the whole game culture. Whereas GDC is where you go if you are making games and you want to see what other people are up to. Or if you are looking to get into the gaming industry, if you're interested in the gaming industry or the industry part of it, if you want to make connections, if you want to have business meetings, if you want to have business meetings with other companies and things. For instance, Nintendo was there, but they didn't have an actual booth. They just had sections in the business center portion of it, which it's really annoying to me. I'm like,
You jerks.
Come now, like, your latest system's been out for a year. Come show us something. Like, it was strange, but I mean,
Nintendo's very secretive because
Yes.
I mean it's understandable as well because Microsoft and Sony are kind of like always following behind their ideas, but and not always, but I mean for the most part, like the Wii, they tried to make their own like motion controls and stuff.
right.
Since the Wii was so successful.
Yeah, they reacted to that, like with the Kinect and with the PlayStation. What was it called? PlayStation Move.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Okay.
And now I expect them to do something very similar with the Switch having a mobile. I mean, Sony can't do very much because they have the Vita.
Yeah,
they'd have to completely remove that.
They'd have, or they'd have to. They just have to get people excited about it again somehow.
Yeah.
So I was thinking about that too. I was like, as much as I love the Switch and been playing it, I'm like, man, isn't it great to just play these really cool games mobily? And then I'm like, I look back to like the fact that I completely missed the Vita. Like I wasn't playing games. I wasn't even home. I was on my mission, I think, when the Vita really came out and sort of got big. And then I didn't really get into
quote
it when I got
unquote
home.
big.
I mean, when it was at whatever peak it was at, when people were like, "Oh, this is a new thing I can buy and cool," and then it petered off really quickly, from what I understand. But yeah. Anyways, Nintendo was there, but they weren't presenting anything. PlayStation, meanwhile, was there, and it was like one of the big booths. Like when you walk in, so there's the convention center is the Moscone. So I'm gonna call it the Moscone because I like that pronunciation.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
It's Moscone Center. It's this convention center. It's the name of the convention center, the Moscone Center.
Okay.
This center currently has 3 sections. There's a north, a south, and a west. And there's other parts of it that were
East.
under construction. That it maybe the east was under construction. I don't know. There was a large portion of it that was under construction. Like in order to cross from like west over to the north part, you had to walk through a construction zone.
Well, was it in the east part of the area, Ethan?
I don't. Maybe I don't know. It was kind of in between the north and south, but it was actually on the western side of them. It was weird. I don't know. Don't know.
Directions.
Yeah.
Get a compass.
Anyway, the western part, the western center, had 3 levels, and that was where there was a section for like indie games. There was a section at the bottom. That's where I got my badge. That was the main badge getting center. Although you could get one in each of them, you could pick up your badge in any of them. But that one, the west was the main one, had the most lines and places to get your badge. And they had a few booths there. I think Unity had a big booth down on the front first floor of that one. And but other than that, it had several presentation rooms. They had a lot of panels there in that one. But it wasn't a whole lot going on as far as expo. There were a few things to keep people's interest, but it wasn't major.
I know NVIDIA was there because I actually got an email from them saying, "Hey, we're at the video game conference. This is our new technology that we're revealing," which they do kind of often. But
very well could have been there. I don't recall specifically seeing them, but
I'm sure they had a conference or at least a panel or something because they did that at PAX last year. They had an NVIDIA conference, or maybe that was the first year I went. I don't know. But they showed off like their new Fire technology and like how it looks on the screen and stuff.
Gotcha, yeah. And this would be the place to do that too. Would be the place to show that off and maybe they probably had a presentation on it.
This is how new water looks.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
In the North Center, they had that's where you could also get badges there, and you had that's where the shop was, where I bought a shirt and a tumbler. And I really liked it. I got me an orange tumbler, GDC orange.
Orange tumbler.
Orange.
PVC orange.
No, GDC.
Oh, GDC.
Like they had my badge carrier is also like that. When you get your badge, it comes in a very fancy plastic holder that can hold basically any business cards or other like small flyers and things if you want to just put it in there to remind yourself of stuff going down. And that's orange, cool. And I'm like, yeah, that's nice. Yeah, it's probably the nicest badge I've ever gotten from a con. It's really cool. And what am I doing from there? Right. So continuing in the North Expo Center, in the actual expo floor of the North Center, there was the business center that I mentioned, which is just a bunch of closed off offices where just about every big name company that was there had some offices there. Again, not where they were showing anything, just where you could set up meetings with some of the ones who were recruiting if you were looking to get hired. Other than that, they were just there to meet with other companies, essentially.
That sounds like fun.
Yeah, it's a really boring place unless you are actually employed there by those companies. So next to that, they had a little career center where they had seminars and things. I went to one with Sony, with PlayStation, and they talked about one of their in-house like cinematics teams gave a little presentation that was really, really cool. Saw a little bit of Last of Us. Is that the really cinematic zombie game?
That is one of the cinematic zombie games.
I think that's what
there are multiples.
Gotcha. I'm pretty sure.
Was it a guy in his 30s and a little girl?
Yes, but
teenage girl.
It's an early scene where I think a guy loses his actual daughter.
Oh yeah, that might be The Last of Us.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
I've never played it. Yeah, I heard I should because I heard it's good and blah blah blah.
Yeah, that's what I hear too. But I think he was like.
I know David's played. Did David play it? I think David played it.
I think so. I know my friend Corey played it and really loved it. So, but anyway, that was really cool. And I got some swag from that, and it was like after the thing they were like, just check the back tables, there's some swag. I got a charging block, so like a blue charging block with the PlayStation insignia on it. It's so legit. Like, this is probably one of the smallest things I've got from this con. By the way, I got a lot of free stuff, but it was it's one of my favorites. It's just like, it's so cool.
That's how you get business. Give them free stuff.
Yeah, man. That's
have people interest.
Yeah, and so that was really cool. What did I do? I'm talking. Oh, right, sorry. I'm talking about what is in the North Center. So the rest of that expo hall is dedicated to smaller video game companies and like smaller companies and indies. There's an independent game festival section of it. That was just this really big section where you could play a bunch of demos or a bunch of indie games. I think even Cuphead was amongst them. I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, I remember seeing Cuphead. So, but it was really cool. That was cool. And they have several awards shows that happen at GDC. I didn't go to any of them, but there was a couple different ones. Like GDC has its own awards. I think the Independent Game Festival also had its gaming awards that they did there. Really neat. But yeah, a lot of that section was dedicated to smaller game companies and international game companies. That's another cool thing is they separate. In the expo floor, they separate a lot of things into countries. So like, there was a section for Canada, there was a section for Indonesia, there was a section for China, there was a section for Korea, there was a section for Scotland, a section for the UK, and different things of that nature. It was really cool. A section for Italy, even, and Sweden, and it was really neat. So that was. And some of those were in the south and some of those were in the north. So the South Expo Center, Expo floor, is where like all the really big companies are, as well as some smaller ones, but mostly big companies. So let's move into that. So when you walk into the South Hall, the first thing you see in front of you is the PlayStation booth, and it's huge. And there's just a bunch of games that you can play out in front of it. Like, there's couches and big TVs, and you can just sit there and play various different games. Like, I could have sat down and played Monster Hunter World with a significantly smaller line, i.e. no line.
No. What? I mean, it has been out for a while. So.
Right, yeah. A smaller line than PAX is what I mean, for context.
No, I figured what you mean.
No, I knew what you meant, but I don't know if
the listeners,
would have
gotcha.
Understood that.
Thought you were
experience that you and I had together separate apart from them. But yeah. Then, so the other thing about this show is that it is very much like a trade show, and that a lot of companies that aren't necessarily video game developers are there showing off anything and everything they have that even remotely relates to gaming. So like Dolby and THX were there showing off sound systems and things of that nature. I'm certain there was probably someone there showing off TVs and things of that nature. I kind of avoided a lot of that. So just, once I saw that you weren't a game developer, I just kind of didn't care. But I mean, like, Oculus was there right next to Sony. Huge things, and they're like these huge, like, office building-esque booths where like there are spaces that you can, like, some of you can go upstairs, and like that's where a lot of their workers will hang out or will have meetings and things like that. And there's meeting rooms in them, like crazy stuff. Like, do you remember at PAX there was a section where there were some people who were like I think they were like live streaming video games.
Yeah, in the Twitch booths.
Right, and they had their own little booths sectioned off. It was like that, but on steroids for a lot of these things. A lot of the bigger companies had stuff like that. It was really impressive to see, actually. And Unreal Engine had a really big booth. Had a couple of booths, I think.
They should. I mean,
they had one that was dedicated, I think, specifically to like letting people like try out the actual engine and like using it, yes, and displaying some things that they can do with it. And then another one that was just like their party booth where you could play games, and they were like live streaming people playing Fortnite, and they had like
Sea of Thieves was made with the Unreal Engine too.
Righto.
Yeah, It's made a lot of games, a lot of really good games.
Yeah, it's
ridiculous.
Like it's as far as visuals go, it's from what I understand the most powerful system out there, and they continuously push what they can do with it. I went to a presentation with them about creating realistic characters with their system. Really cool. It had animators and texture artists and modelers come out and talk about it and show us.
Kinda jealous, honestly.
It was
I love watching things like that.
It was so cool, and so they showed us essentially their process of like scanning human beings, like taking photos and scanning them in, scanning their heads in, so that they can track it and so that they can make a model from it. And so they recorded Andy Serkis speaking lines of Shakespeare, and then created a model from it. And so they showed us the model they created of Andy Serkis, like the replication of him, which was flawless. It was so cool looking. And then they created this, I think they call it Osiris. He's like an alien demon looking guy that they used his Andy Serkis's capture as the basis for as well. And so like we were watching this speech and it would fade between a perfect Andy Serkis and this creature, and it was so cool.
Sounds interesting.
It was really cool. But yeah, really cool, really interesting stuff, talking about just the strides that they have made and are making as far as 3D modeling and replicating things and getting things to look good without falling into that uncanny valley. Really cool presentation. That one was fun. And so anyway, and I spent a good deal of time in the Unreal booth playing stuff. I played a little tank game that was pretty cool. Like there were a lot of games here that were for mobile, and I agree. I agree with that because I was playing this tank thing and I was just like, man, this would be so much better if I had actual physical controls. And the reason I walked up to the booth is because I saw a Switch. And I was like, oh, do y'all have a Switch? I'll have this on the Switch. And it was like, well, it's in alpha right now. But yes, we intended to put it on the Switch. But their Switch wasn't picking up the Wi-Fi. So I couldn't play it on the Switch. I had to play it on the phone. And I was just like, man, as soon as this gets on the Switch, I will play this because this seems fun. It's just I can't really control myself very well. Yeah. It's just, I'm really not a fan of mobile games. But if every existing mobile game was just ported to the Switch, I would play it there. Like, I really would.
I mean, Nintendo's got a mobile team going, so
yeah. So hopefully
we'll see what they do with it.
Yeah, hopefully we get a lot more.
Because we have Mario Run, not Pokemon Go. That's not really by Nintendo. And Animal Crossing Pocket Camp,
right?
Which is doing incredibly well. Sad face.
I also played a disc throwing sports game.
Frisbee?
No, I don't remember what the thing is called. I sat there for so long playing this thing just so that I could feel better about myself. If I was to make myself slowly improve, I died a lot. I lost a lot, way more than you probably should in the beginning.
I'm
of the
not
game.
Surprised.
I was just.
Is that on the Unreal Engine or?
Yeah, it was in the
VR?
Unreal place.
Gotcha.
I think there is a VR version of it, but I don't. This was not a VR game. And I think there's a version of it on the Switch. I'm not entirely certain. But I was playing with just a PS4 controller.
I want to play Frisbee on video games.
It's it's like Frisbee tennis. So you're grabbing this disc and you're chunking it, and it's gonna bounce off the walls, and you're trying to get your opponent to either miss it or trying to get the disc to hit the back wall. And they've got all these crazy.
So Frisbee Pong.
Yeah, Frisbee Pong is a much better description of it. Yes, I was not very good at it. But in this booth, I got a water bottle for free.
Oh.
A nice metal one.
I was about to be like, is it a cheap plastic one? But no.
It was a nice metal one. They were also giving out T-shirts. They had a crap ton of T-shirts. I did not get one from them because I didn't really like the design. But the design was based off of earlier. I was mentioning they were live streaming people playing Fortnite, so you can get in line to play Fortnite and they'll stream you. But
interesting.
At a certain behind you, when you're playing, behind you, they have set up like a bouncy house version of like a wrestling ring kind of thing. So there's no top.
It's an inflatable wrestling ring.
Right. Yeah. Oh, gotcha. And in the center of that, they have a mechanical llama, which is it's a bull, like a mechanical bull, but it's dressed up like a llama.
As a llama, because Fortnite has llama.
Okay, is that what that is?
Loot boxes.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Their loot boxes are like llama pinatas.
That makes sense. Yes, it's just like a llama pinata. That's what it looked like. Yeah. If I played Fortnite prior to coming here, I might have cared, and I might have gotten one of the shirts because the shirt was like that llama. And a
you should have got it regardless. Fortnite is super big right now.
I thought about it. But
it's so big. You could have sold it on eBay or something.
I guess.
Money.
Truth. But yeah, that was neat. It made me kind of want to play Fortnite, so I guess I might do that.
Yeah, definitely. It's pretty good. I mean, I don't. The only reason it's so incredibly popular right now is not. It's a good game, but it's free as well. At least the battle royale part of it is.
Right. Yeah, because it's like PUBG, right?
Yeah, it's the free PUBG,
the free version
as
of PUBG.
It's been dictated. But it's. I mean, I think it's better than PUBG, to be honest, because you can. It brings a whole new dimension to the game with building. You can't build in PUBG, but you can build in Fortnite, like little forts or whatever, stairs to climb up and get the high ground on your enemies and things like that.
Cool. That's pretty neat. But yeah, so that was happening. That was really cool. I watched a guy get thrown off the llama. It was fun.
Oh, you cut out, I think. Oh, there you go. Wait.
I lost you for a little bit. Did you lose me? Eddy, why?
Okay, there you go.
Okay.
I hear you.
Yeah. I lost you for a smidge, but I caught the end of your explanation of Fortnite, and I just went along with it. It's like, yeah, cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I watched some guy get thrown off of the llama pinata, and that was fun. That was also where I got to play Soul Calibur 6.
Oh.
And I was like, yes, please. Like, I saw it. I came around the corner and saw it because it was in the center. They had a ring of games in the center, and there was one that was like a fighter jet simulator that I was immediately not interested in, and the other one was they had Dragon Ball Fighter Z or Fighter
Z.
Yeah, however you say that. And then
Fighter Z. Yeah.
The other side of that was the other side of the circle.
Soul
Calibur 6. And I was like, holy crap! There are people playing this game. Like, so
the Witcher guy.
Sure, they didn't. I don't think they had him, unless that was the one character that I didn't recognize. But I think the one character I didn't recognize was the new guy from Soul Calibur 5. So.
Well, he's got white hair. He's got long white hair and a beard.
Yeah, I don't think that was this guy. What kind of weapon does he use?
I don't actually know.
I don't think that was this guy.
I think he uses a sword. I'm not sure.
This guy has like a double-ended, like a long sword kind of thing, like a.
Well, it's not double-sided, so it's not him.
Anyways,
I definitely know that much.
Yeah, and so they had that guy, and they had you could play as that guy or Nightmare, Keelik, Xianghua. Oh gosh, what is her name? Did you just send me something?
Yeah, I did, but it didn't link well, so
that's fine. Xianghua, and oh gosh, I can't remember her name. Not Cassandra, Sophitia.
I don't know any of these names.
No, it's okay. Some people will. And
I'm just letting you know. I don't know anything about Soul Calibur.
Is that it? I feel like there were like 6 playable characters. I feel like there was other people.
I just know there's a whip lady that can send her whip through the ground.
That's Ivy. I don't think she was playable here. Yeah, she's been in every one since the first one, so she will definitely be in this. She's no surprise. Zasalamel is going to be in this, which is really cool. He's from 3.
That's neat.
He uses a scythe. It was great. And Mitsurugi was another playable character. It was a good time. I got my butt handed to me, but it was still a lot of fun. Like, that's what I expect, though, because I'm like, people who play Soul Calibur still play it, are just hardcore people and I knew sitting down with anyone they were gonna trash me unless they were newbies.
Newbies,
which none of them were. But I was fine with that. I just liked getting there and getting to play. I played as Keelik and Xianghua. I did alright as Xianghua. I almost won as Xianghua, but he still won, so it's fine. But then and I watched several matches. It looks so pretty. It looks so good. I'm so ready for this game. Another thing that I'll need to have a PlayStation 4 for. Another reason for me to go.
Is it PS4 exclusive?
I don't think so, because I'm pretty sure we were playing on Xbox controllers.
You're pretty sure? I mean, it's a pretty big...
Yeah, they were. They were. I don't know. Okay. I touched a lot of controllers this weekend, so I'm fairly certain that's what we were using. I don't think I played anything else in that booth. I walked around and saw a few things. That booth was crowded as crap. It was chock full of people all the dang time. Because in addition to those free things that I mentioned, there were other free things. There was they had people going around with bonbons and chicken tenders.
Wow. And free food, huh?
Yes, free food. There was free soda. There was popcorn. A lot of booths had stuff like that. The bigger ones. And yeah, Intel had a booth where they were having matches of pros versus Joes Overwatch. And giving out a bunch of free stuff. I got an Intel temporary tattoo.
Oh, sounds like a...
What the heck am I gonna do with this?
Put it on your forehead.
Yeah. But yeah.
Dun, dun,
they also had a rotating roster of indies, small developers showing off their games in their area as well. If you wanted to go around and play with them, I guess people who have Intel core processors in their computers who develop. So I mean, it was I don't know, but again, anyone who has anything kind of to do with video games was here. So
yeah,
there was a ton of VR. You and David said that when David went to PAX, there was a whole lot of VR, and you were expecting that this time, but there wasn't as much this year as you thought. I feel like if you had gone here, you'd have been very well satisfied with VR, because every third booth was VR stuff, which I didn't do any of because I do not care about.
You don't care about VR?
Not really. I'm a very late adapter to most things, technology stuff included, and VR just isn't even close to where I would be comfortable using it. I just don't...
With purchasing a retail copy of something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So, I'm just not... Nah.
That's fair.
There was a bunch of things. There's a website called Congregate, which is a hosting site for games, for mobile games and things. If you want to make a game and I guess have it somewhere on the internet and have it on phones and things, you can go through them.
Congregate.
Kongre.
K.
Yeah.
They spelled it with a K. Mm-hmm. That sounds really lame.
They've got a bunch of games on their roster though. The reason they were familiar to me is because I played a game called Lionheart, which is a tactics game on my phone, and that they were hosted by Congregate. So, but they were cool. People talk with them for a bit. There's just tons and tons of people from every corner of the world, and everyone from 1 to 2 person companies to, like I said, huge Sony, Nintendo, Microsoft, Intel, all these enormous things. Facebook was there. Facebook had a huge booth next to Oculus.
Facebook owns Oculus.
That's right. That's true. But they were distinct. There was a big booth that had Oculus on the front, and there was a booth next to that said Facebook. And I was like, wow. Yeah, so crazy things. Bunch of really cool... I mean, there's very interesting... Okay, the only form of VR that I think is interesting right now is VR where you come to a place like an escape room or something like that, where you have a place that's a physical, tactile place that's set up to interface with your virtual reality set. And then a couple places like that, a couple booths like that, where you would go into a room to do this VR stuff rather than hanging outside looking like a moron to everyone else who walked by while you were lost in whatever world you were in this VR. Which, again, I wasn't not too big into VR yet. We'll see as it goes. Mm-hmm. But yeah, met up with a bunch of people, passed out my card, looked for opportunities to talk about animation or different things like that, animation and art. Got a portfolio review, which was soul crushing, but very good for me. It was really cool. It was really interesting. And like I said, very different from PAX. Like PAX and GDC are similar in the fact that they are both about video games, and a lot of video game companies showcase video games that you can play. Yeah. But other than that, they're pretty daggum distinct. This, like, I think, like, if you want to play games, you're going to go to PAX. If you want to, like, report about games, you're going to go to E3. And if you want to, like, learn how the industry is doing and what to do to be in the industry, you're going to go to GDC. So, yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. There was at least a couple of games I wanted to mention that I really liked when I played. There was an indie game called Exposure, which is really cool. It's very, very simple. You're like this little round floaty creature, and there are these other enemies that are trying to kill you and they can shoot at you, but you're in a field of like floating debris. Mm-hmm. It's very flat, not dimensional. It's just floating shapes, and there's one of two colors, and so you can change color to blend in with those things, and you have to move around and collect collect little power-ups and things to get through the level while not being killed by these things. So when you are correctly camouflaged, you won't be seen by the enemies, but when you're not, they'll see you and move towards you. And so it's really cool because the ability or the speed at which things float by changes in order to increase difficulty and things. And so it's really neat. And there was like a boss fight. It was really cool. That was a really fun game. Played a game called Guacamelee 2. Guacamelee 2.
Yeah.
Did you play Guacamelee?
I own the first one. I haven't played it yet.
That's really cool. I didn't know it existed, and I played the second one, and it was a crap ton of fun. I really liked it. So in Guacamelee, I don't know how it is in the first one, but in this one, you're like luchadors, and you can turn into chickens. Mm-hmm. And it's essentially a platformer.
Yeah, I don't know about the chickens part, but the other one was a platformer as well.
Yeah. It was really fun. It's really pretty. It's very, very cool animations. The animations were actually made using Toon Boom, which I found to be incredibly strange.
That's quite strange, actually.
Unique.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, Toon Boom is pretty popular and common for like actual animation shows and like television, but not for video games. So that was really interesting. But I guess I could see the benefit of it because all the animations were really smooth and really nice. It was a very pretty game. And it has like a Day of the Dead aesthetic to it. It's really cool. That game was a lot of fun. I also played a game called What the Golf. And
What the Golf or Golf?
Golf. What the Golf.
Oh, What the Golf. Okay.
If there's a playable demo on their website, I suggest you, specifically Eddie, and anyone listening to this, go play it. Otherwise, it'll be out, I think, in a month or so. I'm not exactly sure on the time. But it is freaking fantastic. It's very, very simple. And it's made to make you think it's a golf game when you first sit down. And in a way it is. But you are the golf ball. And you point in a direction and hit a button, and it'll give you the sort of strength gauge that you're used to in a golf game, I would say. And then you let go whenever you're at the right thing. But you are the ball for some of it. And you're moving around in this area. So you're moving the ball around, and they have some remarkably funny and difficult puzzles. And so they get you used to moving around as the ball for a bit, and then at one you're a golf club next, and so your golf club moves around and it has its own physics that are different.
It has I'm looking at a at a trailer right now, and Excellent. It looks pretty interesting.
It's freaking hilarious. It's so gosh darn fun.
Some of the rag dogs look like that goat game. What you call it? What is it called?
Not Goat Simulator. What is?
Yeah, that's what it is.
Goat Simulator?
That's what it is. Yeah. It's Goat Simulator. They look like the ragdoll effects and stuff.
Yeah. There's a lot of So like, there's one level where you're a guy standing about to hit the ball, so you assume again that you're the ball, but no, you're just not being the guy. Like you drag the guy across this field as a rag. It's hilarious. It's so funny.
That looks pretty funny.
There's a one of the puzzles is called Hole in One. And you start out, because again, when you start out, you don't always necessarily know what object you are until you hit the button to go. And you are the hole. So you pop the little metal hole out of the ground, and you have to roll over to a big one in the ground that's shaped like it's a hole shaped like a one in the ground. So you have to get the hole into the one so you can be a hole in one. And it's great. It's real funny. And then like the final two levels are like you as a golf ball on the rooftops of several buildings, and there are these enemies that are shooting at you, and you can take them out by hitting them, and then you can grab their gun, and you get like one shot with a gun, so you're just like a ball with a gun sticking out of it. It's hilarious. It's so fun and nerve-wracking and challenging. It's really good. And at the end of it, they show you how many times you died and how quickly you got through the demo. The demo was it was 10 to 15 minutes depending on how quickly you got through it. It was really cool, and I got a little button after I picked up a button off the table after I finished it. And that was really cool. I got a t-shirt from High Voltage, which is a video game company that has an office in New Orleans and one in I don't know, some Midwest state, Indiana or Illinois or Ohio, one of those states. That was really cool. You just get a free t-shirt. That's really cool. Like a lot of places had that. I didn't get free t-shirts from everyone I could because I didn't really care about everybody. But I got some from them. That was really cool. Yeah. People just give out a whole bunch of stuff. I talked with like Warner Brothers Animation, and they were giving away these tiny little they're like, I didn't know what it was at first, so I had to ask, but it's like a plastic clip that you can, with adhesive, that you can put onto your laptop over your camera, and then it works as like it moves, so you can like open it to reveal your web camera or close it so that it's not, so that the government can't spy on you.
I see.
That was a neat little idea. I only saw like maybe one other booth doing that.
Who is giving that out?
Warner Brothers Animation was there. Yeah, it was really cool. You could take a picture with Wonder Woman. I didn't, but you could. That was a thing you could do. Gosh, yeah. And then a lot of people giving out water bottles, chapstick, candy, business cards. Yeah, I got some chapstick from Zwifty.
Candy chapstick.
Just candy. But yeah, like there's tons of things. I think like pop sockets and phone cases and all manner of things. All manner of free swag could be obtained at this place. Pens, anything. Like, it was crazy. But it was overall a very, very cool experience and very fun. Very, very nice. Oh, after parties. I didn't go to any. But the after parties are supposedly very important for networking and I guess kind of
connection making.
Legendary. Yeah, there's some every night, and there are multiple ones, and that based off like your discipline or what you're into, you go to different ones. Like there's one for animators, there's one for writers, there's one for I guess technical artists, there's one for developers and programmers and things like that. And there's all of these different parties everywhere. Crazy. I didn't go to any. That's part of what makes me want to go back next year and do the whole week rather than the 3 days that I did. Just so I can get more of the experience in. But it was really cool.
So did you stay in a hotel when you went there?
I did. I stayed in a hotel about 3 blocks from there. So I walked. I didn't bring my car up. Like I flew up. I
right.
Ubered.
You said you were on a plane.
Yeah,
That's right.
Yeah, Ubered to my hotel and While I was on the plane, I played games. Like you do. I finished freaking Metroid Samus Returns. I finished that on the first flight within like the first 30 minutes of the flight, and after that I was just like, well, what else am I gonna do? But yeah, it was cool. We were talking about a bit earlier before we were recording about the ending. After the credits roll, you see one of the little chomper head guys get
one of the enemies in the game.
Yes, get attacked by an amoeba and become
it's an X-shaped amoeba.
Yes, it becomes one of the fusion monsters from Metroid Fusion,
man. Yeah.
Which is a Game Boy Advance game.
Yeah, and it hints at a remake of Metroid Fusion in the guise of what they did with Samus Returns. So.
Yes, which I am straight up for. I want that to happen, especially because this game was done really, really well, and I loved it.
Yeah, absolutely. And there wasn't much story to this one, but Metroid Fusion had more of a story. So I'm interested in how they will do that.
I don't remember much of the story. It was one of like the first 2 Game Boy Advance games I played. So it's been.
I still have it on my 3DS from the Ambassador program.
Ambassador. I don't think I have my copy anymore.
Early adopters for the 3DS got like 10 games for free because Nintendo decreased the price or something really hard. Yeah. So, and they're pretty good games too, like that. The Metroid Fusion. I think there were 5 NES games and 5 Super or Game Boy Advance games. So
fun.
That was fun, and I still have them on my 3DS. So.
Sweet.
That's fun. Well, it's a 2DS now.
Right.
I can't say 3DS. It's a 2DS 3DS.
Right, yeah. It's the new 2DS.
The new 2DS. Trademark.
I really like my 2DS.
Yeah.
Did that. I also, the only other thing, I played through all of the demos I have, except for Disgaea, on my Switch. I downloaded a bunch of demos a couple weeks ago. I played through the Kirby demo. I was not super satisfied with it.
Isn't it a multiplayer game? I mean, you can play with friends.
It is a multiplayer game that you can play with friends, but otherwise it is a game that you play with multiple CPU companions.
That sounds kind of lame.
It is really lame because it sort of takes some of the control off of you, and it has a lot of combinations that I like that are callbacks to the combinations of powers you could make in the Crystal Shards that I really liked. But again, it takes away your ability to control all of them by forcing you to depend on CPUs to play with you, and I just
it seems like a friend game more than a solo game.
Very friendly, childish game. And I'm like, nah, if they would port Crystal Shards, if they would remaster that
totally
game,
going to.
Please do, because it's the only Kirby game worth playing to me at this point.
Oh, wow. Don't say that. Holy crap.
At this point, that's just how I feel.
How many have you played?
I've played the one that's on the SNES, or one of the ones that's on the SNES. And that one was fine. I'm sure there are other ones that are worth playing.
And
as far
Crystal
as
Shards
as
too.
far as the platformer ones, the Crystal Shards is great.
Don't make a sweeping judgment on all games on the series.
I will.
Because you've only played 2.
Kirby Air Ride was pretty fun. I'll play that still. But again, that's not necessarily a traditional Kirby game. But yeah, I want them to just want them to remake and remaster Kirby, the Crystal Shards, and either put it on the 2DS or put it on the Switch. Either one, I don't care. I'll play it. I'll buy it and play it. But yeah, anyway, yeah, I hope Metroid Fusion gets remade, and I will play that too. I don't think there are any other things. Do you have any questions about GDC?
Nope, not really.
Splendid. It's a good time. I recommend going. If you,
I might go with you next year.
Please do. I welcome you. We will have a good time.
Definitely.
But yeah, to anyone listening, if you like games, if you want to look into what the industry is like, if you want to experience that, I highly recommend going to GDC. Go to some talks, go see some panels about whatever facet of the industry you're interested in, and talk with some people and just have a good time, play some games, go to some parties, and enjoy yourself.
Get a job.
Yeah. Get some connections. I think connections are much more likely to happen rather than full-scale jobs from GDC at this point. But connections are what's going to get you to those jobs. So do that. Or if you're developing a game, I think one of your goals should be to eventually show off your game here, whether it's in Day of the Devs or in there's a train jam that happens that I didn't know about. Someone told me about.
Train jam.
So the train jam is a bunch of programmers get together, developers get together. I think most of them, they might all be from LA, or maybe they're from varying places. But anyway, you get on a train, you take a train from whatever location you're in to San Francisco, and while you're on the train to San Francisco,
you develop a game.
You have a game jam.
I see.
So it's called the train jam.
It's like
and then
that's neat.
When you get there, they have a booth for you, and you can show off the game you made, which is really cool. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, if wherever you at, if you have games that you're proud of, that you've released, that you want to show off, it should definitely be on your list to get to GDC at some point and show them off. But yeah, I approve, recommend. It's good. Very, very good. But Eddie, tell us about your escapades on the seas, the Sea of Thieves.
The Sea of Thieves. Oh man. So, Sea of Thieves just came out last week. Yeah, 7 days ago today. It's by Rare, who was bought out by Microsoft, and I still have qualms with, but I'm not going to go into that. It's a pirate game. So basically, you take the guise of a pirate, and you sail the seas to get treasure, gold, and reputation.
Yeah.
It's an open world game, a first person. It's action adventure.
So it's a first person
in
view.
Genre.
So like you're just looking at your hands and stuff.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And you have your weapon or tools in front of you. So it's a really good game. I like it. The unfortunate thing is that there's not a lot of game to it at the moment. I feel like it was released a little bit too early.
Troublesome.
Yeah. But on the other hand, it's very pretty. Like the water is some of the best. Is like the best water I've ever seen in a game. Because I mean, it's a very important part of it. Like you have to.
And it's not a hyper realistic game, right? It's a
no. It's not.
Stylized.
I mean, the water is, but
right.
Everything else isn't. Like it's very Fortnite like actually.
Gotcha.
The characters look like they're from Fortnite.
Cool.
The boat physics. You spend most of your time when you're on a boat. It's the physics are exactly how you would handle a regular boat ship. You have to steer it, of course, in the water. You have to raise and lower the sails.
Do you require a crew to help you do this, or can you do this solo pretty well?
There's two different boat sizes at the moment.
Gotcha.
There's a sloop, which is a 1 or 2 person boat,
right.
and there's the galleon, which is the 3 or 4 boat crew. The sloop is the smaller boat, of course. It has 1 sail and 2 cannons, but it goes really fast. It can outmaneuver a galleon in like an instant.
Gotcha.
But a galleon has 3 sails and 8 cannons, and it's a lot harder to maintain. You know.
Right. But as far as maintaining, do you have to like clean it, tar it? Like, what do you?
So the boat physics are. The sails, you have to lower and raise the sails at opportune times. You have to angle the sails to the wind of direction to make your boat go forward.
Gotcha.
You have to lower and raise the anchor whenever you want to stop, of course. But if you get attacked or if you run aground or something, you have to like patch holes in the bottom of your boat because it starts filling with water. It's really fun. It's definitely very difficult for a solo player to do things. It's definitely a friend game.
Gotcha.
You should play with a friend if you have it.
You can't solo the front lines, Eddie?
Yeah, you can definitely solo it. Like you can.
Gotcha.
You can solo it for now.
How many Kiritos have you come across?
Not very many, but
okay.
There's like I say it's very pretty, and that it feels unfinished because there's only like a few things to do at the moment. Like there's 3 different trade companies that you can or merchant companies that you can partake with. Like you can get quests from these companies.
What are the quests typically like?
There is the Gold Hunters trade company. There's the Order of the Souls company, and there is the trade company. The gold ones, obviously, you get maps and stuff to go dig up buried treasure in different islands.
That sounds fun.
The Order of the Souls, you go fight pirates that have died and have come back as skeletons for their skulls, their bounties, basically. You're a bounty hunter. And the trade company is basically like animals and spices and things that are pretty rare in the sense of commodities like sugar and tea, animals, trade goods.
Yeah.
And you can like cage animals and bring them back to the trade company to do whatever with. And that's pretty much it.
That's all
for now.
Thus far. So can you make like formalized crews? Like, can you declare who the captain is and things of that nature, or is it just sort of ad hoc?
I mean, there's no real like captain position or importance of the captain. It's basically a teamwork game.
Like you can't like name your crew or something like that and have it be
official?
Not
yet. No, you just get matched up with friends or randos and begin doing quests. And basically, you get rep with each of the companies, the merchant companies, and you can go up to like 50. If you get 50 in all 3 of them, you get the Pirate Legend title, and that supposedly unlocks things, but no one's gotten it yet.
Gotcha.
So we don't know what's going on or if the content is backloaded to the game.
Yeah.
But
so that's the only kind of ranking system at the moment.
Yeah. So there's and like there's different levels of like bounty or chests that you can find, but there's no like lock for that. So you can be like level 40 and find like really, really small chests,
Gotcha.
which is unfortunate.
Yeah.
So it can take quite a while to build up that rep.
Is there different gear you can put on and wear? Or
yeah, all the gold that you get is basically you can buy cosmetics.
Gotcha.
And nothing else, just cosmetics for your gun, sword, your pirate himself, clothes and stuff, and your boat. You can like get different paint jobs or heads for the boat.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, but unfortunately there's nothing else in the terms of like reward.
Yeah.
At the moment.
Are there any like microtransactions or anything like that?
Not yet. That is actually coming soon, though.
Okay.
But
it doesn't seem.
There's not.
Thus far, from what you said, it doesn't seem like if there were microtransactions that they would really change much of give you an advantage. So
yeah, no, they
won't be like
Rare has come out and said that they're not going to do combat oriented microtransactions.
Gotcha. That's good.
It's just going to be like cosmetic, because I know they're going to bring pets for the microtransactions.
Yeah.
So you can get like a parrot or whatever,
or a tiger,
what, I don't know. I have no idea what kind of animals. I just know that they
I bet you can get
have a parrot coming. Probably.
I'm gonna get into this game and get a tiger.
But I mean, it feels like they spent a ton of time getting the water right and the boat physics right.
The physics right, because that's
and nothing else.
Right.
And it feels like a create your own kind of thing. It's definitely sandboxy.
Right.
And it's really fun. It is really fun for like the first 10 hours.
I assume there's a collection of islands that you're...
Yeah, the main map is divided into like 3 different areas. I don't exactly remember the names of them, but there's like a very pretty, rich, vibrant area.
Gotcha.
There's kind of like a neutral area, and then there's like a deadish area. Like even the water signifies it. It's like crystal blue in the first part, and like regular, average water in the second part, and then like gray and murky and stuff in the other part.
Cool.
But and it doesn't really affect your rewards or anything either. It's just aesthetic.
Right on.
Yeah, and you can sail to these islands, every island, whatever you want to do.
And so they're all just they're all in the same. Nothing's procedurally generated or anything like that.
Right. No, it's all permanent.
Gotcha.
At the moment.
And at the moment,
there are
you can fight other people? You can PvP at the moment?
Yeah, you get spawned into a server that can host up to 16 groups of people.
Neato.
So you can
have there been server troubles?
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it's definitely been rocky, to say the least.
That's pretty common with launches now. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't fault them for it because there have been a lot of interest in this game.
Right.
But recently, I think today, they just released a patch that they pretty much they rewrote their entire server code.
Fun.
So they should the quality should improve, and then they can start focusing on like actual content. But
yeah.
But I mean, you can find random spawns and stuff. Like there are shipwrecks, like NPC shipwrecks, as it were,
cool,
in the water, to find like treasure or skulls for bounty, things like that.
Yeah.
And you can find them on islands as well. But mainly, you get a map or a bounty sheet, and then sail to said island. You have to find it on your chart, match up the shape of the island or the name of the island. And got a X marks the spot, or there's a riddle to find a chest, or fight the skeletons that are there.
Do a pirate thing and you don't get the chest.
Yeah, piratey things.
And so, but how is the combat? Like, how's the combat on land? Like when you're just fighting a skeleton.
Okay, so at all times you can have 2 weapons on you. Gotcha. You should usually bring a sword because you do have ammo. For your guns. You can have a pistol, blunderbuss, which is a shotgun,
right,
or a sniper rifle. You can only carry 5 bullets on you at one time. But or 5 charges, I guess you could say, since shotguns, use more. But you can find ammo boxes on your ship or on the island somewhere, in case you run into somebody. And it's infinite ammo from the ammo box, but you can only carry 5 charges at a time.
Gotcha. Once you leave your ship.
Yeah, it's and the ship battling is realistic. Like you have to turn your ship to make sure that you can get an angle on the enemies, and shoot below the water level so they'll take in water on their ship. Like if you shoot on the second deck or something, it's only going to put holes in the top part.
Yeah.
Things like that.
Huh. So how confident are you in your ship combat?
I mean, I've sunk a few ships. It's it's been pretty fun. I didn't mention skull forts or skeleton forts. Each server has like a timed public event where you can see a skull cloud in the sky, and that means it appears over a pirate fortress, like a skeleton fortress, where you can go in and you fight waves of skeletons up to the captain, who has the key to their vault on that island, and it has a lot of treasure in it, and like it's one of the best ways to level and get gold right now.
That sounds super cool.
But at any time, anybody can come and get it. They can fight you for it, or help you and then betray you, or even split the treasure with you. Depends on who you run into, I guess.
Neato.
There's lots of environments on the islands as well. Like you can explore them, and there's like cave paintings and stuff, and there's different stories that can be obviously seen on the island, but there's no incentive to explore at all unless you have a map.
Gotcha.
So it's ridiculous. Like it's a gorgeous game. Like it's so pretty.
Is there currently an ability to like make your own base kind of thing, or is that something we expect?
In fact, you can't even create your own pirate. It's randomly generated. Like you can infinitely randomly generate your pirate, and you can even get like facial and hair cosmetics and stuff. But you can't create your own pirate, which is kind of weird.
But you can like save your avatars that are randomly generated?
Yeah, you can fave the ones that you are interested in before you select it.
Gotcha.
But once you select your character, it's pretty much stuck with you unless you delete it, which deletes all your progress as well.
Interesting. I imagine they'll be changing that.
Oh, well, I'm sure they will. Like, they might not do they might not let you have more than one character, right. But I can
have they gotten any angry tweets about that?
I'm sure they have. I'm sure they've gotten tons of stuff.
Right.
But I enjoy it. It's like I said, it's a create your own kind of adventure with friends and stuff.
Yeah.
PvP, fight people, steal their treasure if you need to, if you want to. But it
create enemies.
Right. There's a lot of, and I've heard everyone saying this, there's a ton of potential for this game.
Yeah, that's what I imagine.
Potential isn't what's needed right now.
Yeah.
It's like you should have had, like this game was started development in 2014.
Oh yeah. Wow.
And it was going to be released in 2017, but it was delayed to early 2018.
I imagine they should have delayed again, but didn't want to because they didn't want to lose interest.
It feels like we paid for an early access game that wasn't advertised as early access.
Right. Yeah.
And it's a $60 game. So it's a AAA game. And that's pissed off a lot of people.
Yeah, I would only imagine that they would release, if they were going to try to save face, they'd release free DLC then. But
yeah, no, all the DLC is going to be free if they release DLC.
Gotcha.
But I think they're going to release content patches, like, gotcha. And they said they're going to do it every 3 months. But that's way too long in between.
That is a very long time in between.
Especially with what they have now. Like, there's
if you can get through most of what
things.
they have in just, like what you said, like 10 hours.
Yeah, I mean, if you play the game for 10 hours, you've done everything in the game.
Leveling up to 50 in every place is only going to keep people's attention for so long.
Yeah, and especially since it's difficult to do, since you get random chests. Like, you can get a level 1 chest on a level 40 quest, which is ridiculous in my opinion.
They will likely have to fix.
Yeah,
so hopefully.
But overall, I enjoy it. I'm happy with my purchase. I'll definitely get my $60 out of it, even with the lack of content, because I play with my friends online.
Gotcha.
And I enjoy myself whenever I play it. So
good. That is a good thing. But yeah, hopefully they will get more content and stuff out to that.
Yeah. It certainly feels early accessy. So
which is unfortunate since it's not.
Yeah, it's really not, or at least it wasn't advertised as such.
Yeah. Goodness.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
But it's fun. I recommend it. Like, even if you even with the qualms that I have, it's very pretty. It's very fun. Mm-hmm. Digging up treasure is a blast. Stealing it from people is a blast.
Good stuff. Oh, I forgot to mention I got a fidget cube from Insomniac.
Oh, that's fun. Insomniac, of course Insomniac would give it.
Yeah.
And it's a freaking fidget cube.
Yeah, that booth was neat. It was just covered in Ratchet and Clank and Spider-Man.
Yeah. I bet.
It's like, yep, that's what you would put up, I guess.
That's Insomniac. I love Ratchet and Clank, though, so I can't really dog on them.
Yeah. Let's see.
Gosh darn you, PlayStation exclusives.
What else? What kind of recommendations we got?
Ready Player One comes out this week.
It does.
Which is getting really good reviews, surprisingly to me. It's like at 81% on Rotten Tomatoes with like 80 intriguing. Reviews.
That's intriguing. All right.
And I hate basing my opinions on Rotten Tomatoes, but right. I mean it's a pretty good gauge. Of review.
Agree. On
at
both
times.
Cases. But yeah, I don't know. I guess I'll have to see that. I mean, I was planning to see it anyway. We'll probably see it and review it.
Yeah. No, I'm gonna see it this week.
You gonna see it this week? Okay, then I'll plan to see it this week, and we can talk about it next week.
Nice.
That'll be our next week thing. So yeah, if you should go see it, listeners, so that you can follow along with us next week.
Did you go see Pacific Rim yet?
I have not. I really need to. Did you?
I'm not planning to see it, Ethan. I've told you this.
How are you with Voltron?
I haven't started yet. I've been playing Pirates.
I guess that's true. You did provide content for the podcast with your pirate.
I did. So get off me.
I thank you. It's okay. I haven't done any more Undertale. So
yeah.
This week I bought a Joy-Con grip, the Zelda one, the nice little Zelda Breath of the Wild Joy-Con grip with like Link on the front, and it's got like rubber grips that are slightly more hand ergonomic-y. It's not. I wish it was wider. Because I just feel like
wider with a D. Okay.
Yes. With a D.
Okay.
More wide.
More
but
wide.
It's not too bad. It's pretty cool. It looks really cool, and it's just reminding me that I definitely want to get more Joy-Cons themselves. I want to get another set. I want to get a set of the blue ones.
Yeah, I got a set of the blue ones. But you know this.
Yes, I do. Like I said, the blue ones, so it'll match the case that I have, and the 2DS that I have, and the case I have for my 2DS.
Cyan all the way.
Yeah, super good.
Love Cyan.
What else have I done? I'm thinking about if I've done anything else. No, because I mean, like GDC was a good portion of my week. Oh, I bought a set of the Jackbox games for my Switch. And took that to some friends to introduce them because they'd never played Jackbox. So that was fun.
Well, we shall have to play that whenever you get back.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. So like they had all the different packages are available on the eShop, but one of them is usually on sale, and the package 2 was on sale, so I bought that. And as soon as another one goes on sale, I'll probably buy that. But I really like the Jackbox games. They're a lot of fun.
Yeah. Very good party games.
I picked up my PSP and played a little bit of Final Fantasy Tactics War of the Lions again. Such a fun game. Are
you replaying games that you already had played before?
No, this is a game that I never actually have. I haven't finished the story because tactics games, I like just the gameplay. Like I honestly don't remember much of the story at this point.
Who plays Final Fantasy for the story?
I know there are warring factions. I know the church is corrupt, and they're using these stones to make themselves really powerful. And usually each different section of the story, each chapter ends with you having to fight one of these guys in their demon form, which is crazy because they don't have a health bar, so you're just hitting them wildly and while frantically trying to not die.
Sounds like a Final Fantasy game.
No gauge of how well you're doing, yeah. But I love the gameplay, and I just love the challenge of building up my team. So I will go for months at a time without progressing the story, just so I can train my team up. Which is what I'm doing now. But we're all at or above 70 at this point, so I think I'll probably move forward with this story. Although I'm sure I'll move in, and the lowest level person will probably be like 83, and I'll be like, crap. So this is a notoriously difficult game, which I'm fine with. But yeah, it's fun. It's really good. I decided I'll finish this before I move on to Tactics Ogre, which I mentioned I picked up a while ago. I just haven't started playing yet. But yeah, the other thing I did while on the plane, I picked up Breath of the Wild again and played a little bit. And then ended up in an area, I went to a shrine I'd never been to, and I went to an area I'd never been to, and now I'm trying to figure out what the heck I'm doing in that area, because it's an area where like I just killed 3 of the big Cyclops guys, the Hinox whatever they are. And each of them had an orb around their neck.
For a
that you would like
shrine orb.
But I don't know where their respective pedestals are to put them in.
They should be nearby.
I imagine, but I haven't seen any of them, and like I'm just like, well, so I've just gotta figure that out now. But yeah, that was neat. I remember because I was looking on the map and I was like, hey, that's a place that I went to really early on whenever I didn't know what Hinoxes were, and I found one of the Hinox and woke him up. And he instantly killed me, and I was like, "Yeah."
And then you died.
Bye. So I just never went back there, and I just recently remembered that place exists, and I was like, "Oh, I should go back there and kill those guys." So I did.
Yeah. You got a bunch of royal claymores and stuff.
Yeah, I rarely hit those guys with weapons at this point, because I always have a lot of arrows, so I just shoot them with bomb arrows until I die. Which is pretty gosh darn effective. Like I can kill them in 20 seconds. It's a great time. But yeah, I have not done any other really new stuff for me. So not much to recommend really. Although I still recommend Voltron Season 5. I was talking about it with Scott today, because he's the only person who I know who's actually seen it. But yeah, it's good. Yeah, I think that's the show. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. You can let us know how you're feeling about Sea of Thieves if you're playing it. Let us know what you like, what you think they need to add into this game. Let us know if you feel like it's not a complete game. But tell us that if you're at GDC. Tell us that. Tell us what you like there, or and if you have any recommendations or tips or tricks for attending GDC. You can get in touch with us on Twitter. We are at TeamYKPod. We're also on Facebook. You can find the pod on YouTube and Podbean and iTunes and Google Play and Stitcher and Castbox. So just make sure to find us on whatever platform you use. Give us a nice review on iTunes if you could. That would be fantastic. Subscribe to us wherever you are. Keep coming back. Thank you for listening, and thank you for sharing this with a friend. If you could do that, that'd be great. Great. You can also hit us up on Gmail. We are we are thosenerdsyouknowpod at gmail.com. That is us. And my name is Ethan.
I'm Eddie.
And we are those nerds you know. Bye.
Bye.